reasons for that. And the very first reason is because here we had the second largest slave market in Brazil. The first one was in Bahia, because Bahia was the first place where the Africans were taken to, and then Rio. Here is the bay, okay? So the big ships could not dock here. And the Portuguese built small boats called trapiches. Those boats were specially made to carry the slaves from the big ship to land. So they will be carried here, and this entire area was devoted for the selling, the trade, the punishment of the slaves. So this was considered the second largest slave market in history. Here, this entire area.
What is it called again?
This is called November 15th Square. Okay? So the second reason why this place is important is in 1807, Napoleon was about to invade Portugal. The royal family had to leave Portugal, and the British people helped the Portuguese family to escape Portugal, so they could survive the occupation. Let's get closer here, I'm sorry, folks. Some competition. All right, thank you. All right. So second reason, so in Brazil, around 1808 was already a colony of Portugal. So the royal family moved to Brazil in 1808. And when I tell something that sounds like a joke, it doesn't sound true, but it's true. In November 5th, 1807, the royal family left Portugal, and with them 15,000 people. So the royal family gathered the most important people in the nation, Portugal, and they came to Brazil. And the funny thing is, or interesting thing is, they left in the middle of the night, and they claimed that nobody knew, only the 15,000 people. How can you leave a country with 15,000 people and not be noticed? That's what they say. So they arrived here, and they chose Rio to be their residence while they're waiting for Napoleon to be defeated. And the only place in Rio that was comfortable and big enough to accommodate them was this building behind you. Okay? So this became the residence of the royal family during the time they were in Rio. So when the royal family moved to Rio in 1808, Rio became the capital of Brazil, was no longer Salvador, and also the capital of Portugal, because most of the big decisions regarding Portugal was being made made from here. Okay? So that's the second reason why this place is so important. And please raise your hands, interrupt me if you have questions. The third reason is probably the most important one as far as black culture. According to history, in May 13, 1888, the Princess Isabel stood on the third window left to right, and she proclaimed to the nation that slavery was over. So she signed the letter we call the Golden Law, and the slavery was over. And now 1888, making Brazil the last nation to abolish slavery. Okay? The last, yeah. Given that the royal family stayed here, all the very important decisions were made from here. Okay? So that's the third reason. The fourth reason was, I'm sorry, I skipped. The third reason is in 1822, Brazil became independent from Portugal. And also that announcement was made here, okay? So 1822, and in 1888, we had the abolishment of slavery. And final but not least, in 1889, November 15, 1889, also here, there was announced to the population that Brazil was no longer a monarchy. Brazil became a republic, okay? So the dates are early 1500s, 1808, 1822, 1888, slavery was over. In 1889, Brazil was no longer monarchy. So therefore, the name of this area is called November 15th. So what is this place now? If you go by here like most people do, you never know that all that took place here. They have no signs, No, most of us don't learn in school the importance of this place. This place, it is now a passageway for people coming to Rio, to Niterói across the bay to take the ferry. And Niterói is a very interesting city, history speaking. It's a small city within this area. When the French came to Brazil, when the Portuguese came to Brazil, and they start fighting the French, but the only tribe that allied with the Portuguese was a tribe that was given Niterói Island to live in. So because they fought with the Portuguese, they were giving freedom, and they were giving the land across the bay for them to be free. All the other tribes were turned into slaves. Okay, so and you can reach Niterói, as I said, by ferry boat or over the bridge. Okay, question please.
How did Brazil become a republic? Was it because of a rebellion, or was it because the Portuguese didn't have the resources to maintain it as a colony?
Good question and good point, exactly. Mainly I'm going to tell you the main reason why Brazil abolished slavery. I believe that the black people were the first ones to try to end the system. I believe that when people got here, the time they were taken in Africa, the process started. I think it's human nature to try to escape something that you are forced into. So to me, the end of slavery started with the slaves themselves and other people. But the main decision was made based on the British power, because in 1808, Brazil had a very large population, but half the population was African, was black, and enslaved. They had no money. And Great Britain had a lot of products to sell. Okay? So what they did was, Great Britain said, remember when we helped you to escape Napoleon? Now it's time for you to pay back. Free your slaves so they can buy our products and we can make money. That was the main reason. Of course, the slave owners were very pissed about that. In fact, officially, in Brazil, we only had 16 families that owned slaves in Brazil. 16. Only officially, only 16 families. Of course, there were other people living off this. And also, slavery was the most profitable business in Brazil ever. Let's give a sense, a young man, age of 25, healthy young slave, were sold to the same price as a one-bedroom house back then, which was a lot of money. So slave until today, more even than oil, was the most profitable business in Brazil. So in 1888, when slavery was over, the economy fell apart because there was no slaves, no slaves. They didn't want to pay the slaves. They chose to pay the Europeans. So it was very difficult to maintain the economy after that because everything was done for free. Okay, so the monarchy now fell apart. Therefore, now Brazil was forced to embrace another government system. Okay, great question. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. So I want to give you time to take a picture here. So this space now we call the Palácio, which is palace. The Palácio Imperial is now a museum and also a coffee. There's a coffee house there and a movie theater. There's a movie theater in there, but it's mainly a museum. Okay, so we'll give you time to take pictures when you're done. We're going to move over here.
Are we going to go inside?
No, it's closed. No, it's just outside. Okay. Yes.
Were the native people, what was the major native tribes that were here?
Yeah, they have all.
History is written by those who own heroes.